the Philippines.
Every coffee needs a lotus.
What's the secret to beauty's beauty?
Langis.
Ito ba lahat ang gamit mo?
Ay hindi. Isa lang ang gamit ko for all. Moringa O2 Therapy Oil. Hindi lang malunggay. Meron ding olive oil and omega from sunflower oil.
This therapy oil helps relieve my dry and irritated skin.
It helps lighten my scars and stretch marks.
It helps make my hair strong and healthy.
This is our beauty secret.
Sana all!
Zero oil.
It really shows na yung skin ko ngayon mas moisturized, mas glowing, and mas healthy.
Thanks to Glutacy, I got my skin tone back. Thank you so much, Glutacy.
When one asks how you describe your Metro Manila lifestyle, does this come into mind? This is how a mother spends her rest day in the comfort of her balcony within the city. Find your simple pleasures at Solano Hills, your beautiful yet affordable country lodge from Finma Properties. Nestled along natural sloping features, this homey community is strategically located between the Alabang and Makati business districts. From Makati, Solano Hills is easily accessed via West Service Road in Muntinlupa City. Exit at Dr. A. Santos Avenue, and Solano Hills is just 3 minutes away. Ninoy Aquino International Airport, business districts, schools, and lifestyle centers are within easy travel distance. This 2.9-hectare neighborhood, inspired from the Solano County in California, is made up of 3 low-density phases of 15 residential buildings with 5 stories each. Moreover, each building has atriums for you to enjoy natural light and ventilation. The lodge, the central amenity area, sits at the highest point. At the lodge, you can meet friends at the recreation room after enjoying a dip in the swimming pools. Or you may opt to stroll around the landscaped sidewalks and spend the rest of your afternoon at the commercial areas. Here at Solano Hills, Finma Properties has beautifully designed its residential units to ease your city lifestyle. You may enjoy your 30 square meter unit by greeting the fresh air on your balcony. Have some fun cooking sessions with your family in the kitchen. Or maybe have an exciting movie marathon in the living room. Due to your unit's square-shaped design, it's easy to fit out your furniture. In fact, you can fit 2 adjacent units for more space. What are you waiting for? This affordable country lodge lifestyle eagerly awaits you at Solano Hills.
Into old routines. Only now, with extra care. Let's do it for ourselves, for our loved ones, for everyone's safety.
Hurry up, let's go. Let's go.
And staying safe starts at home.
Nice.
From how we work and learn, to the little ways we find joy. If you must head out, take extra care. Making a small effort, being mindful. They go a long way to keeping us all safe. The health of all depends on each one of us. So let's work together, using new tools and keeping to our new habits to protect the people we love. At work, let's all be good team players.
Hi, morning. How are you? Good.
A little distance between us today will be good for us all tomorrow. A little care can protect the one thing that means the world to us. So let's do our part.
The views and opinions expressed by the speaker, host, commentator, or other third party in ARIVA webinars, e-learning events, and/or virtual masterclass are those of the speaker, host, commentator, or third party and do not necessarily reflect and represent the views and opinions of ARIVA. Furthermore, ARIVA does not warrant, express, or imply the merchantability and fitness for a particular purpose of any product information, service, or process presented by the speaker, host, commentator, or third party, and ARIVA specifically disclaims any legal liability or responsibility for the accuracy, completeness or usefulness of any product information, service, or process presented. Finally, material or information presentation, opinion, process, or service on any trade name, trademark, manufacturer, or otherwise during ARIVA webinars, e-learning events, and/or virtual masterclass do not constitute or imply ARIVA's endorsement or recommendation of such opinion, process, service, item, or organization.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to ARIVA Academy's free live webinar, Adaptability, Successfully Managing Change During Uncertain Times. I'm Kate, and I will be your host the whole morning. And yes, I will be learning with everyone as well. And I am very excited to be with everyone on this beautiful Thursday morning. Now, before we go on with our program, I have a few reminders to make sure that this webinar will run smoothly. First, ARIVA is committed to protecting your privacy, hence stricter security of this webinar has been implemented. So for better viewing of your Zoom experience, we encourage you to please update your Zoom application by visiting their website. And for those of you who are using their mobile phones to watch this webinar, you can go to the Google Play Store or the Apple Store so you can download and install the Zoom app. Now, I want to know who here is attending an ARIVA Academy webinar for the first time. Can you type hi in the chat box so we can welcome you? I also would like to welcome our participants who are viewing us from the provinces. We have a lot of participants watching us all the way from Cavite, from Laguna, from Rizal, Bulacan, Batangas, Bicol, Pampanga, Pangasinan, Ilocos region, from Nueva Ecija, from Ifugao, from Palawan, from Leyte, from Cebu, wow, from Davao del Norte, Davao del Sur, Negros Oriental, Misamis Occidental, Misamis Oriental, and from Zamboanga Peninsula, Zamboanga del Norte. And we have participants from out of the country. We have viewers from Singapore, from India, from Pakistan, from Nepal, and also from Tanzania. Good morning, world. Good morning, Luzon, Visayas, Philippines, and the whole world. Wow. And hello, good morning to everyone who's attending an ARIVA Academy webinar for the first time. I'm really excited to be with you all this morning. It's going to be a very exciting morning full of learning for everyone. Now, I want to make sure that once our speaker is on screen, you will be able to hear him clearly. So please type 111 in the chat box if you can hear me clearly. There you go. You can also type 222 if you can't hear anything, or 2121 if you can hear me, but the sound is breaking up or I sound laggy, or question mark if you don't understand what is happening, so ARIVA Academy can help you out. So far, everyone is typing 111. That's good news. Thank you so much. Later this morning, instead of a 5-minute break, we'll have a 10-minute break because something exciting will happen during that morning break. So watch out for that. Now, participants' microphones will be temporarily disabled by our administrator during the discussion to avoid interruption. So please refrain from unmuting your microphones. But for those of you who might have questions, you can click the raise hand button will allow you to ask your question directly during our Q&A portion. Or you can also type your questions here in the chat box, and then during the Q&A portion, I'll be reading them. E-certificates of attendance will be awarded to participants who will successfully complete the entire virtual masterclass, and they will be available 3 to 5 days after this e-learning session. Please help us build and improve our service with your relevant comments and feedback. Scan the QR code flashing your screen at the end of our session, fill out that form, and then send it back to us. Thank you so much. Okay, now I am sure you're all excited to get to know our speaker. So for us to get to know him, please watch this video.
Morning, Kate.
Good morning, Coach Randy.
Good morning to all of you. Magandang umaga. Good morning from all over the world. How are you, Kate?
I am doing well, excited to listen to you.
I am so happy.
I'm so excited. We have a lot of speakers also coming from out of the country. Yay!
I can imagine. It's amazing. You know, as I was listening to you, so we're so used to hearing, oh, we have participants from Laguna, from Batangas, from Cavite, from Bulacan. And then I start hearing, we have participants from Davao and Cagayan de Oro. I was looking at the chat box, and then I was looking at all of your posts. And then also I see some students coming in. I think we have some students joining us today. And then you started saying we have participants from Doha, Qatar. No, so everyone listening in, good morning to all of you. Mayong buntag kaninyong tanan.
Coach? Okay, I think he's lagging.
Good morning.
Hi, Coach. Sorry, Coach, I think you lagged.
I'm here na?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Maayong buntag. Ayan. Sige. This is part of our lesson today. It is adaptability. Alam mo, we are still in this period where we are still trying to weather it out, the storm that we're going through. Although the storm is showing some clouds already and a little bit of sun, right? So while we're still here, and you know, Kate, you know this, I am so excited. I was watching, I'll tell you a story. I was looking at the participants box. All right, I was looking at the participants box a little while ago. and it looked like a digital timer. It was 112, 113, 251, 252. It was like seconds coming in, and the participants kept coming in per second. And now we have so far 323 people, and I think we have more coming in. Good morning to all of you. But this is the point. Me and Kate are so excited with this many people attending a virtual class. We are so excited to see you in person. Do you agree, Kate? It is so amazing to do this in person because there are a lot of things we can do personally. You know, the amazing feeling of being with people and feeling their energy, right? Listening to their laughter. Also knowing if people are bored, this is also part of the fun. So while we are here in this 2-hour free program, let's try to make best use of this. And also, if at a certain point, my audio is lagging, my internet is lagging, which is part of our virtual life, just type in 222. Okay, and then I'm going to try to pause. I'm going to try to hold my thoughts. And then if it's clear now, I'm going to ask, am I clear now? Just type in 111. Thank you, Warren, for telling me. So ganon. So just let us know if there are any complications that are going on. And I'm so happy to meet you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Coach Randy Esguerra. For first timers who are attending our session today, I saw a lot of highs. So this is not the last ARIVA seminar that you will be attending. There will be a lot more. If you love our session today, we have a lot in store for you. And you can message Kate in the chat box. You can message our co-hosts, our administrators, if you want to do these programs at your office. This is called in-house programs. I can see Sir JM is also logged in. No, I'm so happy to see you, Sir JM. Good morning. And Miss Irish, if you want to message them, let them know that you want this program at your doorstep. So today, we're going to be talking about this highly controversial topic. It's called adaptability. Now, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that the word adapt and the word adopt are the same. It's not, okay? Now, the word adapt came from the Latin word aptare. The word adapt, so ito, as if we are live, as if we are live, and Kate knows this, and Miss Irish and everyone at ARIVA knows this. I love writing things down on a whiteboard, all right? So today, our whiteboard will be the chat box. So as I'm going, I love to write things down, to leave them there, to leave them in your minds, and to marinate for a minute, and then try to keep on recalling these words. And if you have a piece of paper, notepads there, and a pen, please write things down. Okay. Now the meaning of the word adaptare, which means to fit. Okay, it is to fit in. Now I'll go to that point in just a bit. The meaning of the word adopt. The meaning of the word adopt is to just accept it. All right, to just say I accept it. It's there, right? And it's different from adaptability. Why? I told Kate this, and I've told my audiences for the last 2 years this, especially in the latter part of last year. I said, I told them very specifically that I will start mellowing down on the use of the word pandemic since the middle of last year. 2021, I said, I'm going to stop using the word pandemic. Why? Because the word pandemic means fear. It entices worry and anxiety, right? And this is what we have felt for the longest time. And that's why I am now transitioning to the word new normal, or some people call it the now normal, which means it's looking forward. Think about it. The word moving forward or transitioning is different from just accepting. Wala eh. This is it. There's nothing I can do. So I will just adopt it and accept it. But to fit in a situation where you are, now this is the point, and this is the crux of the entire program later, is that you have your own resources, you have your own tools, you have your own skills and attitudes that best fits in whatever situation you are in. Now, talking about the word situation, yeah, very important word. I get a lot of programs where people ask me, Coach, can you do situational leadership for us? Now, I always clarify the word situation. Why? A situation is where your mind, where your emotions are at a given point in time. I'll say that again, at a given point in time. That means your emotion and mindset might be different now, and your emotion might be different tomorrow, right? Are you getting the point? So it is the ability to fit in a certain situation at a certain given time. And that is why situational leadership understands what is happening right now. Do we need to push? Do we need to nurture? Do we need to build? Do we need to heal? And so adaptability is to fit in your skills at a certain point in time. I hope that made everything clear, no? So this is what we're going to be talking about today. One of the things I want to focus on are these. Number one, why does change happen? How did this entire predicament happen? How did I get into this? Miss Kate, we are already 357. Ayan na. The numbers keep growing, all right? How does change happen? What causes these changes? Am I going to be a victim of this change? Am I going to ride it out? Or am I going to be a catalyst of this change? Number two, what do we do in times of uncertainty? When we don't know what is right in front of us, how do we work it out? Imagine the situation where I can imagine a lot of you drive your own cars, and imagine, Kate, right, that you're driving at night. Now, imagine you are driving in a very dark place, a dark, narrow road, and there are no street lamps, there are no street lights, and all you can rely on are your headlights. Now, headlights can only give you visibility as far as probably 20, 50 meters. So what's ahead of you? You don't know if it's a ravine or it's the next town, right? A gas station, you don't know. So this is what we call uncertainty. And then number three is, how do we contribute now moving back to the office as a team? Today, we have a combination of leaders. We have a combination of employees. We have supervisors in the 366 attendees that we have so far. We also have newbies and students joining us today. So these pieces of advice will be very practical, at least for a lot of you. We are now currently living where a lot of things are changing. In fact, Ms. Kate, just a piece of trivia. The ones who were the innovators before are the ones being disrupted now. Let me say that again. The ones who were the trailblazers, the innovators, or the beginners, the founders, are now being disrupted by new people. Example, Miss Kate, do you have Netflix? Do you have Netflix, right? And I can imagine a lot of you, probably 80-90% of our audience right now has Netflix. And just in the last couple of months, Netflix stock has plummeted for at least around 20 to 25% in the last couple of weeks. And so now, Netflix being the original, the OG, is now being disrupted by new players. And now what's happening is, it looks like, and this is unfortunate news for all Netflix subscribers, is that two things are probably going to happen. Number one, they're going to start charging you, when you start sharing your password. Do you share your password, Miss Kate? No? So if you share your password now, Netflix is going to start charging them. Eto pa, I don't know if you've heard this, Miss Kate. It is possible that Netflix will start playing ads. Have you heard of this? They will start playing ads to recover to recover the losses that they've gone through for the last couple of months. And they have also started laying off several employees. So this is what's happening right now. I have it here. Here. Oh, by the way, if it's your first time to meet me, I am going to throw at you a lot of reading material. All right. So this is not just going to be the 2-hour program for you, but also this is going to be probably your take home, coming back to the office, coming back to work, coming back to school, where you have armaments of materials that you can try to grab, read, try to find the PDF or the summary or download. This is one of them. Okay. Clayton Christensen. This is a pretty old book already, but this is a bestseller. The Innovator's Dilemma. He said that there will always be disruptive innovation. Now, imagine that. Before, you had your VHS. Kailan lang, I was just rummaging through my stuff. I saw my dad's VHS, my dad's VHS tapes, and then it became VCD, and then it became LCD, and then it became 222. I'm okay, Kate? Thumbs up? Yes?
Yes, so far on my
Okay.
end, it is okay.
So please also try to check your network connection. Try to check your audio. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's you. Maybe it's you, maybe it's me. Yan, parang relationship lang yan. Anyway, the innovative, the disruptive innovators are always the ones coming in to challenge the innovator. And so the challenge now is that the OG has to be able to guard their position. Now, I'll tell you a little bit of a trick or hack to do that moving forward. Ito na. To begin our program today, and we haven't begun yet, that is only my opening salvo, okay? Let's try to play a little game, all right? Let's try to play a little game to perk everyone up for this morning. And by the way, guys, this is the thing with ARIVA. During the break, we'll not only have a break, we'll also, just nod your head, we'll be giving away prizes, yes? See, you're attending an ARIVA conference, you are attending this free, but also you are earning prizes. So it's an amazing win-win solution for all of you. Okay, here's the game. I call this game the Gen Z Speak. So, question is, can you speak Generation Z? Yan. So, I am going to throw here several Gen Z words and type it on the chat box if you know what they mean. All right. So this is a question, a test on how updated you are when it comes to the current language of the generation. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Let's try the first one. The first one is this: cancel culture. I can imagine you have heard this so many times on social media, right? On Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. What is the meaning of cancel culture? Ayan na, Fatima is the first one. Crystal, okay, unfriending, bashing. YOLO, what's YOLO? Canceling people, bashing, toxic. All right, cancel culture. It's basically, ayan, haba. Cancel culture. Disconnecting. Ang bilis. Congratulations, guys. You guys are very active. You only live once. Eh di YOLO. Hindi YOLO yun.
Baka po na mali lang na pindot.
Not supporting them. Okay. Basically, cancel culture is, I will not support you. I will not subscribe to you if I do not agree with your opinions. Unfriending, unfollowing, right? You cancel them. All right. Fantastic. Good job, guys. Next. Woke. Is this the sibling of yoke? Ayan. Aware. Open. I am now more knowledgeable. Aware. Past tense of awake. Awoke. Correct. Alam lahat. Conscious. Good word. Aware, conscious, knowledgeable now. Yan. Or, this is a good point by Joey Mendoza. A person who believes. It doesn't necessarily mean you're enlightened, but you think you're enlightened. That's a very good point. All right. Wonderful. Next, stan. K-pop people there. Okay. What's the meaning of stan? Now, ito I will give brownie points to anyone who can tell me what are the two words that actually form stan. Do you know? Okay. The two words that form stan. Ayan na. Stalker and fan. Now you know. When you say I totally stan their music, I'm not just a fan. I'm technically a stalker. Good job, Gen Z people. All right. For the ones who are scratching their heads right now, I think it's time to update yourselves with the current language. All right. Okay, next. Yeah, stalker fan. Now you know, Kate. Dank. What's the meaning of dank? It's not thank you in German. I love that our audience is actually pretty much on top of what we're doing. All right. Disagreeably damp. As close to the definition as possible, that is pretty much that. Damp. When you say dank in another language, well, it's not danke in German, right? In Austrian, it is dark. It's humid, right? So it's something that is not ideal for you. All right. So yeah. Probably rubbish or damp. Okay, fantastic, guys. Ghosting. Oh no. Aha. Pretty much to 2021 ghosting, Miss Irish.
It's even a popular word. That's
You
fine.
just left without calling, texting, whatever. Just absolutely tumagos sa pinto. That's that's the Tagalog term for it.
Growing o Indian.
Tumagos sa pinto, nawala. Just totally disappeared.
A wool.
Chugi. It is not when you're fired from your company, you were chugi. That was not that. Oh, dead? Hindi. That's Tagalog, all right? The Gen Z word, chugi, awol, mag-charge sako, okay? The word chugi means it is not trendy. In Tagalog, laus na. All right? So it's so not trending anymore. That's so old. All right? So that's the meaning of chugi. Fantastic. Next.
Obsolete there.
TFW. TFW. You know, Kate, TFW. Yeah. I think Glenn is the most Gen Z here of all the Gen Z. That feeling when, you know, Kate, that feeling when we were doing live sessions at AIM Conference Center, that feeling when. Good job, guys. Next. Are you enjoying yourselves? Drag.
I'm learning a lot today.
Hila. Oh, pwede. Hila. Okay. Could mean to call. Okay. We have a lot of Gen Z here. How old are you guys? Okay. Drag race. Pwede. It's not the drag queen. It's not
drag queen. That's what I was thinking.
All
drag
right.
queen.
It is to call out someone. Perfect, Leiden. No, it's to call out someone, to drag them. It's to criticize a person. Correct. It is to roast. Thank you, Clarissa. Sus. Sus. Suspicious. I suspect this. Anong suspish? That's more Gen Z. Suspish. This guy is so suspicious. All right. That's kind of poblacion language na for me. That's that I'm more I'm more intramuros. Okay, next. Clap back. Is that like this? Clap back? Or what is clap back? You always hear that. Oh, this influencer made a clap back to this netizen, right? In Tagalog, we call this resback. This is to answer back. Sometimes to even be sarcastic, right? To be cynical. That's the meaning of clapback. And then, ito na. Kambing. for our attendees in Singapore, Malaysian food, they call it, especially Indonesian and Malaysian, kambing, which means goat. Yes, kambing is goat in Malaysian. It means the greatest of all time. So Michael Jordan, actually 90s pa yan, we already call him GOAT. So that is the meanings of our Gen Z language. So I hope you'll be able to dugay naman na. Or dugay naman, tuod naman, 'di ba Miss Elna, na karon na noon pa the kasulti ng it is GOAT. Did you get that, Miss Kate? All right, we will continue. All right. Right now, we are going through very uncertain times. We are now going to establish this point. In fact, this is a chart. Let me just play this animation here. In July 2021, how fast the spread of COVID is in the United States. That is how big the growth of COVID infections are in the United States. No? And what happened is, and it's not just in the United States. You saw that in Shanghai. You saw that in other countries, in Hong Kong, where it was a massive surge of cases. We are so thankful, ladies and gentlemen, that in the Philippines, and pray to God that we don't go through that surge, where people, even the most careful countries, are actually going through this period of time where economies are hurting. People are trying to just go by themselves, because this, especially the last 2 years, is a period of self-preservation. Now, the problem with the period of self-preservation is that you only want to take care of yourself. And so you're not looking outward. At this point, this is what you call, okay, so now we are at this point where I want to explain to you, my dear friends, the three kinds of mindsets in this period where we're going through. This uncertain period, we have three kinds of mindsets. No, the first one is the person who just tries to, I don't know what's happening. Dear Lord, when is this going to stop? Why me? Why did I lose my job? Why did my business close? This is the mindset that is called the survival mindset. You don't know what's happening. You don't know what's going to go after this. And you don't know where you're going to get your next meal, how long your ration's going to last, if you still have savings. And then there are people who are just going through this, trying to fit in and just trying to find their way. But they have the same mindset. They are people who ask the same questions. Lord, why me? Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to us? But they are people who are in this mindset. They are called the fighting mindset. They are trying to fight through. They are saying, I don't know what's happening, but I'm not going to be a victim of this. And then, now here's the flip side of the other coin. The uncertain times became good times for others. This is the concept that is called the thriving mindset. I'll give you some examples. Did you know, my dear friends, that the real estate business, since the last 2 years, I'm just going to mention one company. I'm not going to say their name, but they made 16 billion in the last 2 years. Another real estate company based in Tagaytay, selling property in Tagaytay, grew by 300 million pesos over the last 2 years. The semiconductor industry is having more demand than they can supply. And of course, our dear friends in the sanitation, in household, in food, are also thriving. How is this happening, and why are others closing down? But when you go to the streets, I don't know if you've seen this, Miss Kate, as you drive around the streets, sometimes you ask yourself, "Oy, there's a new restaurant opening. Oy, there's a new restaurant opening here." So is this uncertain? Is this bad? But why are businesses opening? I can see new malls opening. So where are they, and where are we, and how do we handle this? And maybe we can take some clues and cues on how they did it. And that is our lesson for today. The problem is this: there are challenges when changes are happening, when uncertainty happens. For example, layoffs. Layoffs are part of what happened today. Closure, right? More work, longer work hours, a disrupted work atmosphere. Why? Sometimes you're working from home, sometimes you're physically at the office, right? So there are challenges that are inherent in what it's happening. Here are some of the challenges. Number one, I just have to do what I'm told to do. And that is the survival mindset. I just have to go through this. Number two, this is the favorite radio station of a lot of employees, WIIFM. What's in it for me? If I do this, mapapala ba ako? Do I get anything? Just the other day, a client of ours, we're going to do their team building. The question in their mind is, Coach, how do you teach people to have more initiative, right? Have to have more empathy with their jobs, with their work, with their company, to love their jobs. Pero the question is, when you ask the employee, they're going to ask you, well, what's in it for me? Next, the fear of failure. When you want to try out new things, when you want to embark on a new venture, always the question is, what happens if I fail? Number four, what if you have an idea and you're scared of being rejected? And this is something that I get a lot from a lot of people when we do our work attitude programs. No, I'm so scared of bringing out my ideas because I'm afraid that my ideas might be rejected by my peers. Number five, your own self-doubt. Can I do this? Am I really fit to do this? Can I handle this? And then the last two. This is very prevalent with a lot of us. Number six, the poverty mindset. You know, this is where I am. I didn't finish college. I came from a poor family, and we're still here. And I don't think I can level up to the big boys, and I don't know if I can make it through. And then number seven is the fear of responsibility. Some people are now being thrown into leadership capabilities and positions, but they're so afraid of additional responsibilities. Other people, because of layoffs, are now being given more responsibility, and they're afraid, I don't think I can handle that. I have so much workload. So how do you handle this moving forward? So here are several tips that I want to give you, my dear friends, in managing and adapting to a very uncertain period of time. Number one, here's the question. Are you still with me? 392, 93, 93 of you. What do you think is the number one reason why people don't embrace changes? Yeah. Why do you think? What do you think is the number one reason why people are resistant to change? Okay. Comfort zone, fear of uncertainty, comfort zone, rejection, fear, comfort, contentment. Okay. Comfort, fear, responsibility, self-doubt. Can I give you the answer, ladies and gentlemen? The number one, and you know, these are all valid reasons. Inconvenience, hassle. The fear of the process. I have to adapt to a new system. I was already using this old system, the ERIC system. We're going to migrate to SAPs. It's so tedious, right? So it's so inconvenient for a lot of people. The paperwork, the encoding that needs to be done to migrate to a new system. So a lot of people resist these changes, but they know the change is good, but they still resist it. The number one reason, now let me open your minds here, ladies and gentlemen, and this can apply to anything in your life. The number one reason I think why people resist change is this. Experience. 222, am I good? Thumbs up? I'm okay? All right. Please check your internet connection. Thank you. Thank you, Marjorie, for letting me know. Now here's okay, we're having 222 from time to time. Okay. So I'll slow down. All right. I'll just slow down. Check your connection. Some people are saying 111. All right.
So far on our end, it's okay, Coach Ren.
Fantastic. Okay. Kababayad ko lang. All right. So So hear me out here. The assumption is this: experience, the more experience that you have in an organization should mean, ito na yan, should be, the equation is, the more experience you have should equal more competence. Do you agree? Yes or no? Parang the longer you stay at a certain job, at a certain office, the assumption is the more competent you are. Pero here's the problem. Okay, here it is. The more competent you think you are. You think, I will go back to what Sir said a little while ago, people who believe they are enlightened, right? The more competent you are, the more competent you are, the less, and this is the most important word, the less humility you start gaining. Are you getting the point? Ulitin ko. The more experience you have, the assumption is the more competent you become. The problem is, the more competent you think you become, the more arrogant you be. So the less humble you become. And so now, you start resisting these changes. I'll give you an example. I grew up with 90s music. Now, as you can see, in a lot of movies, in a lot of musicals, in a lot of popular culture, I don't know if you've seen Rebel Wilson's latest movie, Senior Year. It's like a movie that's saying the 90s music is still better, Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears and all of that. That's far better than what we're going through today. And because we felt that we experienced the great period of music. And so we become less humble in accepting new music. Are you getting the point? So now, when you start to implement change, these people who believe that what we have gone through is better become more arrogant of the new. Are you getting the point? And so the first point that I'm going to share with you becomes all the more important. What is the first point? It is this: ability, ladies and gentlemen, to commit. I'm going to say that again. The ability to commit to change. Why? Twofold here. Okay. This is a book I've always hearkened to every single time. Jim Collins' amazing bestseller, Good to Great. And this is the basis of this first part, where he looks at the greatest organizations of all time. He looks at companies that have gone through the worst of the worst: World War I, World War II, Depression, famine, Spanish flu, all of these world events that have probably toppled a lot of other companies. But why have other companies survived? And the first recommendation, when you want to adapt to change, is the ability to have, number one, leadership commitment. I'm going to say that again. Whatever change you want to adapt, it begins with the leadership. As a consultant, I am a consultant for organizational development, and I am asked by companies to render my recommendations to them on what they can do to make their operations better, make their finance, their HR better. But it is something that will not be adopted by the leadership. We call it buy-in. You've probably heard that word, buy-in. Leadership buy-in. Then it will not trickle down to the rank and file, the supervisors, and to everyone else. I hope you're getting that. Leaders should be the first people to commit to their changes. Why? Because the leaders are the people. Right. So in the same way, when all of this happened, right? Who do we look? Where did we look when all of these lockdowns happened? When we started hearing the virus coming into other countries, we started asking ourselves, okay, what is our government doing? Okay, what is my boss doing? Or if you're a teenager, a student going through this period in the last 2 years, you started to ask yourself, okay, what is my dad gonna do? What's my mom gonna do? You always look up to leadership. What are they going to do? So it is the leadership who has to be able to see further after the 20, 50 meters of your headlight, what's going to happen next. And even if they cannot see what will happen after the 20, 50 meters, at least they should have a certain level of calmness to determine what are we going to do next after this, after this. The second point, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Even if you have the buy-in of leadership, the vision of management, okay, this is what we're going to do. The next question is, do you have people's commitment? Do you have the backing of your people? Because no matter how good an idea, fantastic, that is called the 20,000 foot view. Actually, I call it just the 200 feet view. No, in fact, I can just stand on a table and just look down and look at it from a different direction, from a different angle. That's so Robbie Williams, right? No, so what's that? The title of that movie? No, Captain, My Captain. No? The Yelp of this Robin Williams, Dead Poet Society. No? He stands on a table, invites all of his class to stand on a table and look at it from a different perspective. But people have to buy into, and so the ingredients, my dear friends, whatever change you want to implement, or whatever plans you have, moving from 2022, the half of 2022, moving into 2023, because I know in the next couple of months, you'll be doing your strategic planning programs. Number one, do you have a plan? Number one, do you have a plan? What's the plan, boss? What's the plan, Dad? What's the plan, Mr. President? So that's what's happening now with the incoming president. Okay, what's the plan, new Mr. Incoming Presumptive President? But also, what people are looking for after the plan is the process. So, what's the vision and how do we go about it? This is the first step on how to get people committed to your change and what do you need to do. Pero, I wanna go to this very important point. Why do changes happen anyway? How did this all happen? No, how did this start? How did this happen? What started what? And let me give you, my dear friends, before we transition to the next part, how did change really go about? First of all, we went through a certain period of changes in our generations. The work environment changed over generations. In the beginning, it was the agricultural era, where people were farmers, where we had to create produce and tractors and animals and grow our own food. That was the agricultural era, where we had to be sustainable in the way we live. And that was good. It was a good period. It was an exchange of products and services. And then suddenly steel came in. The Dale Carnegies of the world started coming in to the picture. And then it ushered in the industrial era. Just forgive my spelling. I typed it too fast. Industrial era, where steel work happened and buildings were built. Before there were just houses, and now we had bustling cities. We had automobiles. And what was the number one craving? Jobs that can do the everyday work. Welding, steel work, construction. This was the era where you were told what to do, and you were paid accordingly. Come into work, come out, do what you need to do. Don't think. You are not being paid to think, to give ideas. Just weld that metal, build that car, assemble that wheel. Don't ask questions. Fall into the assembly line. And then eventually that became the model of our educational system. All right. So what happened was the model of the industry, where it's telling people what to do. Don't ask questions. Just listen. Respect authority. Do it on your own time, but not on my time. was also the same model that was adopted in education. So what happened was students, children were taught what to do, how to behave, what was prim and proper, what was acceptable, what was the religion, what was this, what was not. Don't ask questions. Don't think. You are not here to become an athlete. You're here to become a math student. You are not allowed to play that piano. You're not allowed to play that guitar. You're here to graduate with honors and then graduate as another cog in the wheel of the industrial era where you are told what to do. Don't ask questions. Labor in, labor out years, and then hopefully get a pension, and that's it. And then became this change, this huge wave of change. It became the information era, where now during the birth of the internet in the 80s, it became about accessibility. The people who had information were the ones who yielded power. And these changes from the agricultural to the industrial to the information era, the most important commodity now is the ability to exchange information, gather information, and maximize it. That's how social media platforms made their billions of dollars for the last couple of years. But also other industries also saw a lot of changes. Let me give you an example. Can you still remember, my dear friends? Anyone can type in here, okay? So not my Gen Z friends, all right? Probably my baby boomer, my Gen X friends here can probably still remember. Do you still recall how banks look like? Anong itsura ng bangko noon? Let's rewind probably 10, 15, maybe 20 years ago. How do you recall banks look like? How did banks look like way back in the 80s, early 80s, going into the 90s? If you still remember your Prudential Bank, your Coconut whatever Planters Bank, right? How did they? Yes, the big calendar, correct, Miss Cherry. No television, no CCTV, physical bank, passbook, right? No ATM. Yes, ang tagal makuha, right? Passbook only. But yes, no air. Oh my God, no aircon. True. And then they give you this bayong where you put your money, right? But also look at how the bank looked like. It looked old. It looked like a museum. It had a lot of wood. Exactly, Kevin. It looked like a museum, had a lot of wood, metal trusses. And then when you go to the teller, yung patawag sa kanya, and that's what she was called before, teller. There is this glass and a small hole, right? And a small slot here where you're gonna put your hands there, put in your money, and then you talk to the teller by putting your face inside the deposit, right? You're talking to her through a little hole. When you go to banks now, rarely, and that's a collector's item, if you can find a bank that looks exactly like that before, take a picture, take a selfie, because now banks look completely different. No glass, so clean, tiles, white walls, lighting, cove lighting, amazing, bright colors, amazing looking uniforms. How did that happen? One of the first banks that did this in the Philippines was a bank called Banco de Oro, right? You've seen that before. And every other bank started to do it and started to make their own little innovations after that. But truthfully, the bank that first started that was a bank in the United States. It was a bank called Washington Mutual Bank, or they call it WAMU, Washington Mutual Bank. It was the first bank that started cleaning out the look of their branches because they adopted, here we go, they adopted the concept of retail stores. So if you go to any retail store, a pen shop, right? You go to Uniqlo, H&M. It is about bright colors, white walls, very clean, right? And the product is right in front of you. And that's how the idea migrated to all other banks all over the world. And now banking is never the same. What is this concept? Other than, okay, I'll give you other concepts that became the impetus to changes. Number one, contradiction. Contradiction is, okay, what happened to us in the past? What were the mistakes? Why did we go wrong here? Where did we choose the wrong supplier? Contradictions are analyses of what went wrong, problems we encountered, pains that we went through, and what can we learn from that? Just yesterday, I came from a 2-day team building with the people from DSWD. You probably know them, DSWD. Or you probably fell in line or went to Cebuana Lulier for that, DSWD. And, we were having this intimate conversation over coffee, and they were telling us, we get a lot of criticism and a lot of hate, a lot of smack from a lot of people. And we were doing the best that we can. And people don't see the people behind working overnight, working overtime, not going home, coming to work on a Saturday and a Sunday, just trying to build the system where the ayuda, the help, the social service can be given. And one thing they told me was they learned a lot from the problems, criticisms that they went through. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the beauty of what happened to DSWD. If they were arrogant enough, if they are an arrogant group of people, they would have said, I don't care about your criticism. We're giving you money, we're giving you ayuda, we're giving you food packs. So shut up and just say thank you. But that would have been experience talking. But they were humble enough that they were going through new experiences. It was testing their competence. It was stretching their abilities. And that is why they surrendered and became humble enough to say, this is unfamiliar terrain for all of us. And we will try the best as we can to get through this and give the better service that we can to the Filipino people. Ladies and gentlemen, these two stories, the banking industry, the DSWD, and all other industries that have changed through the years, it is, I give this a very important term. I don't know if you've heard of the term vujade. Have you ever heard of the word deja vu? Yes. Yeah, deja vu is, like I've seen this before, but it's just happening right now. That's deja vu. But vujade is completely different. And every time I introduce this word, and try to remember that, write it down on your handouts or your notepads or your cell phones if you're taking notes, type in vujade. It is the ability to look beyond your own industry and learn something that I can apply to my own. Let me say that again. Washington Mutual Bank did not just look at banking and the banking industry as an industry to learn from. They went outside of their industries and saw best practices being done by other people. And when they saw, oh, that's good, I think we can do that. Oh, that's good, I think we can do that. One of our friends from Fatima University, Our Lady of Fatima University, did exactly the same thing. Before, schools also had that class with the registrar and the cashier, right? Accounting and finance. And now you can see their campuses do not have these classes. Now, because they understood from the banking industry, it could also be applied to a school. Sometimes you only look at your industry as your basis of learning, of competitor analysis, of innovation. But have you asked yourself, can I look beyond my industry and maybe learn from someone else and be an innovator in my own industry? I'll tell you a story about Vuja Day in just a bit after the break. Miss Kate, are you there? Oh, there. Sorry, I was having a hard time pressing the buttons here. Yes. Okay, Coach. Thank you so much.
We are now going on our break. Nagbigay ka ng teaser this morning. You said that we'll have prizes, and it's going to happen right now because we are going to play a game with everyone. And I hope everyone's ready because I'm giving away prizes. We'll have 2 winners for this game. The 2 winners will be receiving 200 pesos that will be sent directly to your GCash. Wow! You're attending a free live webinar and you get to receive a prize if ever you're our lucky winner. So what is our game called? Let's reveal the title of our game. It's called Bring Me. And I am sure one time in your life you've played Bring Me. When we are doing this, it's going to be virtual. So this is how it goes. This is how it goes. I will be asking for an item. And for you to win, you have to be the first one to show that item in front of your camera. For example, I asked for a ball pen. And the first one to show a ball pen in front of the camera will be declared our winner. So for everyone, I need everyone to turn on their cameras. Can you do that? Turn on your cameras, turn on your cameras. There you go. Join us, turn on your cameras. So is everyone ready? How about the others? Please show your cameras. There, show us. The pen is just a sample. So that's not it yet, okay? It's just a sample. But I like what you guys are doing. You're showing it in front of the camera. That is what you have to do later when I ask for the first item. Okay, are we ready? I hope you guys are ready. Keep yourselves muted. Just turn on your cameras. Okay, here goes. For 200 pesos. Bring me the new 1,000 peso bill. The new, it has to be the new one with the new design. People from Arriva, help me. Okay, we have Rosbel de Guzman. Rosbel, it's upside down, but I can see. Can you show it clearly in front of the camera? The eagle is just upside down, but that is it. Yes, we have our first winner, Rosbel de Guzman. Congratulations, Rosbel. You will receive 200 pesos. Now, can you send the 1,000 pesos to me? No, just kidding. I'm just kidding. Rosbel, this is what you have to do to receive your 200 pesos. Please send your GCash account number privately to Arriva Academy Philippines or to me. Okay, send it to us privately here in the chat box so we can send you your prize. And because you have won already, Rosbel, let's give chance to others, okay? You won't be able to join the game anymore because you already have a prize. Okay, to the rest of our participants, I still have one more 200 pesos to give away. We still have another chance. So here goes. Again, keep your cameras on. Keep your cameras on and ready. This time, bring me proof of your second booster. That means it's in your vaccination card. Proof that you got your second booster. Okay, we have, okay, the first one, Mary Ruth Sheena. Is that it? Mary Ruth Sheena? Can you show it to us clearly here in the chat? I'm sorry, in the camera. There you go. Okay. Yes, we have Mary Ruth Sheena Baso. Congratulations, our second winner. There you go. So just like our first winner, Rosbel, this is what you have to do, Mary Ruth. Send your GCash account number to us privately here in the chat box. Look for Arriva Academy Philippines or to me so that we can send you your prize. Congratulations to our two winners and thank you, everyone. Ang bibilis actually kumilos ng ating mga participants. Very good. I like that. Your energy is very high. Now, before I give the floor back to Coach Randy, I have a few more announcements. stay on top of our insights and updates, stay connected with Ariva Academy. You can join Ariva Academy's Facebook group, like Ariva Academy's Facebook page, follow Ariva Academy in LinkedIn, and also check out Ariva Academy's website, www.ariva.com.ph. And for those of you who might have missed the live webinar, especially the free live webinars that we had, you can all catch them in YouTube. Subscribe to our channels, Ariva Academy and Ariva Talks YouTube channel. And I would like to invite you to some of our upcoming online learning sessions. Aside from the free live webinar that we're having right now, we have these other programs as well. Thursday, June 9, we have the DOLE NLRC proceedings, how to handle labor and employment law cases successfully. Rethinking your company's total rewards philosophy, driving performance and retention through employee engagement. This will happen on June 15th. Also on the same day, effective time management skills. The 8th Advanced MS Excel Office Productivity Training using Excel skills for business will be on June 16, and this one is a hybrid program, meaning we'll have virtual participants who are here in Zoom, and we have face-to-face on-site participants who will be in Marco Polo Ortigas. So you can register via Zoom or be with us on-site in Marco Polo. The second, managing up career development strategies for administrative professionals, will be on June 17. Core competencies and success behaviors for professional excellence in the workplace on June 22. June 23, essential management and leadership skills for secretaries and administrative professionals. Successfully drive innovation in flexible work environments on June 24. This is, again, another free live webinar. Again, a free live webinar. The topic is successfully drive innovation in flexible work environments. On June 29, we have the guerrilla selling strategies in new normal. June 30, job structure and compensation program design, how to design and develop a competitive salary structure. And for those of you interested in bringing our speakers exclusive for your team to do an in-house program, Ariva Academy can help you with that. The number is flashed on your screen, so call that number or send an email to irish.arivaacademy@gmail.com. Here are the programs that we offer, but we have a lot more. So just let us know what program you have in mind. We'll help you partner with the right speaker under Ariva Academy Speakers Bureau for that. And there you go. So now I am sure you're all eager to continue the discussion. Let us again welcome our speaker coach, Randy Esguerra. Hi, coach. We're ready to listen to you again.
I am back.
There, we can hear you.
I'm back. Fantastic. All right, I was just having my coffee. See, you're watching our webinar. You're learning. We're having a few laughs. We're enjoying ourselves in the chat box and probably having new ideas for yourselves. But also at the same time, kalaman pa Gcash mo. Congratulations to all the winners. And you know, we have adapted. We at Ariva Academy have adapted very well to the virtual platforms because we were so used to face-to-face, right? And then virtual came in and we started adapting our activities, our games, our breaks even to the environment that we have right now because we want to keep you engaged. We want you to always be part of us during our sessions. So when we left off, we were talking about Vuja Day. Where did this come from? And let me tell you a story about a hospital called Virginia Mason Hospital. This was probably one of the origins of the story, where Virginia Mason did not have a particularly, let's say, stellar career when it comes to their surgery department. And then they had new management came in, and under new management, what happened was they started to rethink how are they going to retrain their people from the surgery department. And so this was the revolutionary idea. Okay, remember, they are a hospital. And you know what new management did? They enrolled the people from surgery to a company. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? You know where what company they enrolled everyone in? It is Toyota. and everyone was asking, and people were sarcastic and saying, Toyota, we're a hospital. How do you plan to connect hospital work, surgery in particular, with an assembly line? Are we going to put wheels on them, or we'll put screws? What are we going to do? Relay their electricity? And the new management enrolled them to the Toyota Learning Academy, where Toyota was very famous for their precision, their efficiency when it comes to production and assembly lines. And fast forward to today, dear friends, this is a picture of the Virginia Mason Hospital Academy for Surgery. Not only did they improve their status as a hospital with their department, they even have an academy to teach that even topic where they were actually bad at. This is the concept of Vujade, that when you widen your horizons, you will understand that with enough humility, you will see that there is a lot to learn from the outside world. But sometimes we are victims of what we call narrow framing. Let me type that in, narrow framing. It is boxing yourself in within a certain industry, that I'm only going to look at retail because I'm from retail. I'm going to look at hospitals because my benchmark is hospitals. But what if we can learn something from hotels, from BPOs, from restaurants, from schools? What can we learn from them? And this is the essence of this new book by Dr. Adam Grant called Think Again. Now, this is his newest book, Dr. Adam Grant. He's had amazing book after book after book. But this latest edition asks this very important question. And I want you to ask yourself this question. If you're a leader right now, if you're a student right now, if you're an employee, if you're a parent, ask yourself this very important question. What if I'm wrong? What if my beliefs are wrong? What if my former processes are wrong? What if I'm doing all of this all wrong? And Dr. Adam Grant said, you can only ask that very important question if you start to set aside your arrogance, that amount of experience, and dive into this new world that always asks the question, maybe I'm wrong. And that takes a lot of humility to say, that's a hotel. What can I learn from a hotel? That's a restaurant. It's a small restaurant. But best practices are everywhere. And this is also the story of this movie. I hope I saw this last year. I hope it's still on Netflix. Maybe you can still try to find it. It's called Two Distant Strangers. Now, this movie, the funny thing is, this movie is only 30 minutes long. Kli lang. Very short. 30 minutes long. Now, the premise of the movie is it's all about racial hate. This, of course, Caucasian police officer kept trying to find a case against this African-American guy who is actually a young, smart, urban professional, does nothing wrong, makes his own money, and the cop starts badgering him. Why do you have money? What do you do? Are you robbing people? And every single time in the movie, so this is the morbid part, where the young guy keeps dying in the movie, and then he wakes up again and relives the same day over and over again. And what he does is this: he tries to find a way on how today he's not gonna die by the hands of this guy. But the one thing I learned from the movie, watching it and being wowed by it, was that I believe because he made progress, kept on making progress over and over again. And the end message was, I'm gonna keep trying. But also, the message of this movie was that change, and I'm not just gonna talk about change, I am also going to harp on a very important word. Kasi the problem with change, my dear friends, is this. Change can only be superficial sometimes. It could be just an aesthetic. You can just renovate the look of your bank, but your service is still bad, right? You can change the look of your restaurant, but the food is still bad. So the idea of it's not just about change, but it's about progress. This is what we're actually after. We have a new administration, new president, and we're looking forward not just for change, but for progress. It's supposed to bring us forward into the future. Because change is just new management, but nothing happened. Maybe it went worse. Could be better. We can only wish for the best. But all we want, all we're ever hoping for is progress. And the movie says the message of Two Distant Strangers is that sometimes progress is achieved through dialogue. He started talking to the policeman. What's wrong? What did I do to you? Why do you keep running after me? I've done everything I did. What's wrong with us? And so that was the message that was left in the movie, where it's telling us that we keep on trying to create dialogue within each other. And I'm going to tell you a story about that later on. Number two, once you have people's commitment, number one, commitment from leadership. Number two, commitment from people. People need to see what's the beginning, what's the end. How are we going to do this? What is the plan, boss? And what is the process? Of course, and this is, and I'm not scaring you here. I'm not scaring you. I'm not being a bearer of bad news, but we never know, some kind of variant might come out again. You know that. Who knows what this monkeypox will be? Who knows if there will be a surge? And that is why the second part of not just a commitment to change, because we have already done our rah to move into the future, but people have to be able to commit to the change, be ready for the change, and be ready with expectations. Show them the beginning to end. And of course, and this is the very important part, and ladies and gentlemen, do this with me, okay? I know, okay, Jeff, Jong, you're gonna kill me here. And we do this a lot, and I love doing this in big events. Okay, my dear administrators, would you allow everyone to please unmute? Okay, let's try it out. This is 375 microphones, all right? Can we allow everyone to please unmute? Let's see if that's possible. Just mute. Right? If your background is fine, yeah, unmute, okay? All right.
Hi, hello. Hi, hello. Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. So this is what you do, okay? Listen to me very carefully. Good morning. If there's someone beside you right now, okay na, good morning na nga, good morning, okay na. Someone beside you right now. Listen to the person beside you. Okay. The ones attending abroad, please bear with us. We'll say this in Tagalog first, okay? And then we will translate this in English, okay? But for the ones who are here, if you have someone beside you, okay, an office mate, maybe someone around you, okay, say to the person beside you, all right? And say it loud and clear. Ready? Sabihin mo sa katabi mo, kapatid, Say it to the person beside you. Kapatid, taasan mo.
Ang standards mo.
Guys, thank you, Jong. Thank you. All right. For those who didn't get it, taasan mo ang standards mo means raise your standards. And this, okay, you can mute now, guys. This is the essence of being a leader. First, you need to establish very high standards. Set those standards for yourself, and you can create that mindset for your team. Make it clear what is acceptable and what is not. Number 3, show them what we want to achieve. And then maybe we can focus on how we are going to get there. And you know, I was telling the team from DSWD yesterday, the funny thing about steps is this. Who knows? We might be surprised that our people can actually do things better than what we used to do. This is what we call validation. Are we still relevant? And it takes a lot of humility for a leader to admit that a new guy can do something that I've been doing for the longest time and make it better. Number 4, always see also that people have their own limitations. And of course, ito, very important, if you're in construction right now, you can relate to this. Everyone always wants to haggle when it comes to timelines. But timelines are very, very important. Always see the end and the future. You can commit the change if people see what you see. Sometimes the problem is we keep things from people. We only see what we want and don't share it with them. What if we can be open enough to tell them this is what we want to achieve? Then maybe, just maybe, we can get the commitment that we want from them. Here are several tips. Number 1, if you're not sure, don't hire. Jim Collins said it. If you're not sure, don't hire. Number 2, incentivize the ones who are already disciplined. I'm going to say this again. Motivating people sometimes does not have to be expensive. Always we're trying to incentivize the ones who are not disciplined to make them be part of the team. But what happens is we get the resentment from people who are already there. Let's take care of them. Number 3, match them with their abilities, not always with limitations. Number 4, be very high with your standards, but don't be a dictator. Number 5, if people, and you know, I always ask this question. Okay, please type on the chat box your answer. Here's my question. What is more important, people or processes? Let me say that again. What is more important, people or process? Type it in. Come on, I want to see. Automatically, it is a floodgate of answers that say people. Here's my follow-up question. What if the people don't accept the process? Aha. Oh, what if these same people don't accept the process? Are you getting the point now? Sometimes there is a plan and people love to complain. And the thing is, complaints are good. I'm humble enough to listen to criticism. But if you're going to go against the plan, which we know is good, we have the commitment of the majority, then please don't get in the way. It doesn't have to mean you have to fire them for some of you who are more brutal about it. But the meaning of let the wrong people out is that you don't have to fire them, but they don't have to stand in the way of progress. That is the entire concept of what I'm trying to say. Number 6, listen, 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 analyze your data. Look at the numbers. I will always tell you this. If you have attended any of my sessions, I am always a data-driven guy. What are the numbers telling you? What's going on? What's wrong? What's going right? What's selling? What's not? What is working for me? How can I fit my skills with that? That's how I get the commitment of people. I also understand the brutal facts of my people's skills and limitations. What are these guys' strengths? What are these guys' limitations? No, make and I will, Miss Luningning, I will harp on that, where you make a clear message from the beginning what is expected from them. Number 7, listen to empirical data, which is basically related to number 6. And then, of course, Jim Collins said, you have a to-do list, also have a not to-do list. I have a client, which is a subsidiary of Globe Telecoms. They have been growing year after year. I've been doing their keynote speech every single year for the last 5 years. The amazing thing about this company, and I hope you can be a company like them, where they have a lot of offers from other companies. Can you do this for us? They're an IT company. Can you do this for us? Can you do this for us? And they have the foresight, the clear vision to say no to things that will just get in the way of what their progress should be. You will be thrown opportunities which will give you immediate gratification. But just like the students here, you will have immediate gratifications here and there. But will it get in the way of you losing focus on your major, on your course, on your product, on your system, on your strategy? Will you grab these little opportunities na barya-barya din yan, benta din yan, or say, we're gonna only look at things that fit this very important word? Competency fit. We're only focusing on the things that fit our abilities, and we are going to put our efforts there. You know, when it comes to motivating people and getting their commitment, in the beginning, again, let's go back to our history. You know, before, it was all about just numbers. I told you I'm a data guy, but there's a flip side to the data. You know, before, it was all about being stringent, being tight with people. It was about managing people. It wasn't about leadership before. And these were all these very, very suffocating rules, left and right, that hopefully ensures productivity. And I don't know if you know your 5S. You know your 5S? Yes? Can you say the first S? What is the first S of 5S? Right? Sana wala si boss. Right? What's second S? Sana sweldo na. Right? Sana holiday na. Right? So these are the 5 S's. And that was all about being process oriented. And then eventually, this concept of extrinsic motivation developed this crowding out effect where people were just going to their jobs for the salary, for the bonus, for the incentive, and I don't care about the company. Eventually, moving forward, it started to look at the more human side of people's commitments and understanding. And this is, we don't have enough time to talk about this, but according to Charles Duhigg in his book, and by the way, if you haven't seen his first book, The Power of Habits, please do. His second book, Smarter, Better, Faster, Better, amazing book. You're going to learn a lot of things in that book where he says, and this is my question, type in the chat box, what do you think is the number one motivator of employees? Hello there to our students. Hello, Carl. What do you think is the number one motivator of people? Dreams? Go ahead, type it in. Money? Puede. A lot of people say salary. True. That actually translates to a next question, which is, does money motivate people? Which the answer is yes. But did you know that money, being a motivator, is not enough? There's actually more to money than meets the eye. And so, ladies and gentlemen, you have all of your answers. Thank you very much. Working condition, leadership qualities, salary, working environment, right? A lot of these, and meaningful work, purpose, etc., etc. But my dear friends, and I have researched through all of these literature, scoured every possible article here and abroad. What is the basis and the number one motivator of people? I found out true appreciation, validation, rewards, recognition is good. But more than anything else, it is independence. The ability to make my own decisions. Let me clarify that. What is the one thing during this 2-year period that a lot of us lost? Let me say that again. Ano yung isang bagay na nawala sa atin bukod sa buhay at kabuhayan, other than lives and livelihood? It is a sense of control. Do you agree? The ability to go out. I can go out anytime I want. I can eat wherever I want. I can bike and jog wherever I want to. I can stay in a hotel. I can go to a resort. I can go to the mall. We lost control of all of that. And that was frustrating. And so, flip that coin, knowing that you have control of your life, your work, your finances, your decision is the number one motivator of people. Eventually, dear friends, it's not just about the ability to become free. Listen to this. When you want people's commitment, it is not just about letting them be empowered to make decisions. You see, that's the problem. It ends there for a lot of people. In managing change, in adapting to the changes, it is not just about making people free. It is about making people. Kasi pwede mo sabihin, I'll say it in Tagalog and then I'll translate it. Pwede mo sabihin, oh yan, pera mo yan. Bahala ka sa pera mo. Tama. Oh, you have your own money. You say to your kid, oh, your child, your son, your daughter, oh, you have your own money. You have 1,000 pesos. Okay, you can do whatever you want. And that's called freedom, right? But that level of freedom does not come without responsibility. When you make your employees free and independent and autonomous to make decisions, it also reinforces a very important thing: to be accountable to the quality of their work. That means when you allow your kid to have 1,000 pesos and be free to spend on it, you have the accountability to make sure that your 1,000 pesos is well spent. In any budget that you give, you have freedom to do what you want to do, but make it worth it. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the birth of Lean Six Sigma. It is the ability to make people accountable for their decisions. This is how you build commitment. You empower, but also at the same time, you become accountable for what you do. Why? Because you make sure what's right in front of you, you will never let pass you that has any form of defects. Before, it was about think, it was see, it was analyze, and then you change, right? It's about the numbers. So now it's transitioning to the more human side, where when we start looking beyond the numbers, it becomes see and then feel. What is the pulse of our employees? What is the pulse of our customers? And then things start to change. Let me tell you a story. You know, some of my clients work in food. Some of my clients work in health. And they work with some of the biggest conglomerates out there. SM, Robinson, Ayala Group, Pure Gold, right? They work with these heavyweights. And one of the things they were telling me was this. Even, and you know, if you work with SM and you work with these big companies, they are very strict with their rules. They have very strict rules. But one of the things that happened over the past 2 years was that even the biggest of the biggest companies right now started to become flexible in dealing with their suppliers and partners, because they understood that there is also an essence of humanity in dealing with others so that all of us get through this together. And so even the SMs had to be flexible because they understood that their partners are part of their growth. This is what you call strong commitments. So how do you get people more involved? Number one, okay. Has it ever happened to you? Just type in yes or no, okay? You planned a trip for your family or you planned something for your team, and when you announced it to your team or to your kids, they were like, yeah, whatever. Yes or no? Has that ever happened to you when you announce something? Okay, we're gonna go this, we're gonna do this, and they were like, yeah, sure. And why did that happen? Why did that happen? Let me tell you. The reason why that happened was because they were never part of the planning process. Did you get it? It was all you. It was all you, the thinker, the creator, and you thought, oh, I got something big. And then everyone was like, phew, because they were never part of the process. People support what they co-create. If you want more people involved, empower them, again, going back to autonomy, to be part of the idea creation. Because people will be more supportive in the execution. Number two, reward people's contribution. Sometimes it's not just loyalty. Sometimes it's not just about the number of years you've served. It's not about seniority. It's about results. Today, this period of time is all about results. Number three, and look into what motivates people. Simple story. I don't know, I give you a prize to anyone who can tell me who this lady is. 3-star Michelin chef, the first woman, female to receive 3 Michelin stars, Dominique Ren. The first job story was, her first job was to make soup. That was her first job, to make soup for a restaurant. And she said, where's the menu? Okay, I'll do it. Where's the menu? And the chef said, there's no menu. You make your own soup. Surprise me. Thank you, Crystal, Dominic Ren. And that was highly motivating for her because she realized that I had the freedom to make what I want, but also adapt this recipe to this restaurant and surprise everyone about what I can do. And this is how you get people to adapt as well, because people want to be part of something special. People do not only want to feel special, they want to be part of something special. And I'm not just talking about employee-employer relations here. I am also talking about customers. I am talking about suppliers. I am talking about partners. They also are part of your growth. So my first question is this: are you taking care of the people who have been with you even before all of this happened? Because your job right now is to make your suppliers and your partners succeed, and you succeed along with them. So here are practical tips. Number one, make people feel safe to make suggestions, to create initiative. Number two, sometimes the pioneers are not always the best. And you know this. Even Steve Jobs said this. He said that creativity is not just the ability to invent something out of thin air. In fact, and I'll tell you a truth here, and I want you to remember this. One of the things I want you to remember from today is this: nothing was ever invented. Why? Because everything is invented by God. What happened? Nothing was ever invented. They were only discovered. Do you agree? Nothing was ever really invented. It was already there. The chemical properties of this and this and that, the properties of air, when it's gone through going through an object, hydroplaning and drag and coefficient, they're already there. It was just discovered by the Wright brothers. It was just discovered by Bernoulli. They were discovered. So the thing is, don't have to create from thin air. Just look at what it's there and try to make it better. Number three, show people that we're getting somewhere. You don't have to go grandiose with people to get them into the picture, to show them that we're getting somewhere. Show your partners and your stakeholders and your investors. You have to just show them progress. You see, gradual results is progress. Resist possible gratifications and focus on the things that matter. And of course, this is the assuring part for all of us, that there are not always miracles that will happen, but also at the same time, give yourself some space to analyze and see what is happening and what's going on. And it's not always about being big. I am seeing a lot of companies right now who are so focused on expansion and then start contracting when the pandemic happened. And that's why it's not just about size. It is efficiency. It is getting the right resources in place. And of course, if you want people's commitment, it is about purpose. Do they feel that they are part of something good? You know, I always tell this. One of the first people who supported me when jobs started to come back, when work was starting to pick up, were my clients from 13 years ago. It was amazing. I have 200, 300 plus clients right now, but the first people who contacted me during the July of 2020, August of 2020, were also the same people who were my first customers when I was starting my business. This is the meaning of coming back together. This is a period of renewal, my dear friends. So, we said any variant might come in. Monkeypox, what is this? Any new changes might happen. And that is why you have to build your people's endurance. You know, yesterday was my first face-to-face team building after so many years. My endurance was tested. 2 days team building, and I was the one who had to drive from Bataan all the way back to Metro Manila. So my strength was tested because I had to build again my capacity to work. So you have to continuously build people to be ready for anything more coming up. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let me share with you this very important point. And bringing people into this period, we could see probably the 20, 50 meters ahead of us, but we can't see beyond the hundreds and 205, 1 kilometer ahead of us. This is how we develop people. And I don't mean people, just employees, but also our customers, our shareholders, our stakeholders, our partners. This is the line. Are you ready? I'm gonna type it in. I hope I get my spelling right. Make people impervious to pain. Let me say that again. Build people's endurance to pain. Why? How does this work? And this is how we build moving forward. Number one, I am already setting my standards. I have high expectations. Cascade it down to your team. Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right now, anytime you lower your standards, you get more of lower standards. Number two, believe in the team that you have. You have high standards, but I selected you because I believe that you guys can do it. Number three, you see, this is a theory where I call in sales push and pull. Push and pull. Okay, so you're going to see it in just a bit. I'm going to challenge you. You see, I have high expectations. Ooh, but I believe in you. But wait, I'm going to challenge you. Oh no. And then it becomes, but I'm here. You see, from the logical, hard knocks belief, I have high standards. This is me. I do not tolerate this. This is unacceptable to me. But if whatever happens, I'm here. I believe in you. I'm here. Are you seeing now the push and the pull here? I'm going to push again. Now you have to prove yourself to me. This is the period where, ladies and gentlemen, I'm also telling you, bilang isang empleyado, as an employee, okay? Sometimes as employees, we always ask this very common question: what does the company have for me? Right? What does the company have to offer? If they cannot match the offer, I'll move somewhere else, right? That's always the mindset of the typical employee. But have we ever asked ourselves, what does the company expect from me? Are they going to push me? And so this is the push and pull also of being an employee. You have to understand that you have to live up to your potential. Put in the hours if you really want to adapt to this period where we are right now. You failed? Keep going. This is the part where I keep pushing you. Put in the hours, give me some effort, show me what you've got. I am here for you. You failed? It's okay. Keep going. Insulation, making people impervious to pain. This is the theory that we have when it comes to cycling, to running, whatever sport you want to do. Before, probably in the beginning where you're starting to exercise again, you're right? Hingal na hingal ka, you're catching your breath, right? You're panting like a dog, right? And then eventually, as you kept going, kept doing it over and over again, you got stronger. Why? Because you kept on pushing your threshold. And this is the meaning of push. If not someone else, push yourself. Why? The moment you reach that threshold and go beyond that is called insight. Now, your organization, your team, your management, your suppliers, customers, and stakeholders become ready for anything. It begins with the preparation of people, the preparation of processes. DSWD learned the hard way, no, and now they're starting to learn, they're getting insights, and now they're preparing their systems, making it better. In fact, they were even telling me that they actually stopped doing the M. Louvillier thing with the social amelioration because it was a flawed system. People were getting their social amelioration, even if it's not them. Someone was claiming it for them. So they realized that it was still a flawed system, but now they are gaining insight from their mistakes because they were being pushed by us, the population, and they were squeezed. And every ounce of them came out to learn more and make things better. And that's what you do with your team. Build your team. And then the third stage is collaboration and contribution to change. I have a question for you, my dear friends. Number one, what makes a joke funny? Sige nga, what makes a joke funny? Type it in. Why do you laugh at a joke? What's in it with a joke that makes it funny? Timing, humor, delivery? Sometimes there hasn't been a punchline. Just the joke itself and the facial expression of the speaker, already you're laughing, right? Wala pang punchline, right? The person who's telling the joke. But realistically, yeah, facial expression, right? But realistically, what makes a joke funny is our ability to see ourselves in that joke. Relatability. And that's your answer. A lot of you got the right answer. It is being able to relate to the joke, understanding the humor. And other cultures are like, huh? What? I didn't get it. Right? So it did not apply to you, the Vicks Vapor Rub and all of that, right? So you could not relate to the joke. But also number two, here's the next question. What is better? Higher purpose or higher passion? That's my next point. What is better? Higher purpose or higher passion? See, I love it. You guys are very active. Thank you very much. I so absolutely appreciate you guys for being so active today, even though we're only a 2-hour session. And I hope we can do more, right? And I hope to see you guys face to face soon. Shake your hand and be okay about it. You know, a study was made of the top high-performing companies all over the world. And 80% of the high-performing companies also had the same number of high-performing employees. And going through the data, experimenting and asking and gathering data, understanding that the one thing that every high-performing organization and employee had in common was purpose. It was purpose. If you look at social media, if you look at common literature, it would always talk about passion. Be more passionate about your job, and be passionate about what you do. And ladies and gentlemen, the problem with passion is that it's emotional. It is based on emotion. And emotion is something that you have right now, and tomorrow you're not emotional anymore. And the one thing that feeds the fire of emotion and passion is meaning. It is purpose. And if you want people to continue to collaborate and contribute to what we are doing, we go back to the beginning. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to ask yourself that very important question and say it to yourself. And ito lang po yung sasabihin ko. Just tanungin mo lang ang sarili mo. Quietly, silently ask yourself, why am I here? Where you are right now, this company, this brand, this product, this service, this household, ask yourself this question, why am I here? Because that is the main thing that will feed your passion. And that will bring you back to your passionate approach to work ethic, punctuality, perseverance, insulation. It begins with why. Why am I here? Are my customers important to me? Or am I just here to make a living? Am I just here to make a quick buck here and there? Because this is what feeds us moving forward. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to ask you this little game. Let's play this little game, if that's okay, all right? As we transition into the end of our session today. I just want you to look at your phone right now and just pick up your phone and, I don't know, and type it in the chat box. My question is this. How many cell phone mobile games do you have on your phone? Let me see. How many? 2, 1, 0, 2, 7. I saw 7. All right. 0, not sure, but Penny. 0, 1, 2, 7. Oh, 7 is still our highest. 6, 8. We have a winner. 8, 8, 8. Okay. So, and 9. Okay. 9. Okay, wait. 10. We have a winner. Mark, Robert. Okay. Share ko lang. Okay. The 21, Miss Mary Ruth. I have no words. Okay. All right. I think the top answer before this 21 was 11 from a manager from Samsung. We were doing this session in Samsung. But what is it about mobile games that makes it addictive? Yeah, that's my question. What is it about mobile games that makes it absolutely addictive? The challenge, the leisure, convenience, because it's right in your hands, right? The challenge, coordination, challenge, progress, addictive. Oh, nga, why? Fun, yes, it is fun. The difficulty keeps the boredom away. But psychologically, the reason why we're so addicted to games, whether mobile games, video games, computer games, whatever games there may be, even team building games or basketball games, it is this. This is my answer. It is instant recognition. It is instant rush of feedback. It is instant rush of knowing I'm winning. It is leveling up. You have beaten the boss. Move, level up. You have now defeated the turtle. Oh, yeah. You are now getting feedback about progress. And ladies and gentlemen, as you continue to build everyone around you. You should be ashamed for not trusting yourself, Eudora. Yes? No? It is knowing that you are leveling up. My dear friends, I'll tell you this. Some of you might not be people who are very good, not very eloquent when it comes to speaking. Sometimes you would ask yourself as a leader, as a manager, as a boss, as a parent, I am not the kind of person who is very good with words when trying to motivate people and trying to build them up. And my answer to a lot of people is this, is that when you build people up and when you try to move forward, sometimes it's not about flowery words. It's not about the good job. And I appreciate you. It's just, I know the sacrifices you're making. Sometimes it's about the leveling up. It's about the results. It's about the progress. It's about the numbers. When you want to transition your organization and carry your team through this period and build their motivation as we navigate through this very uncertain times, always focus that we're getting somewhere, that we are going through gradual results. And the thing about mobile games is that we don't do it once a week. We do it every day. We do it twice a day, sometimes all night, because we crave, as humans, we crave for that feeling of recognition, of the feeling that I have leveled up. And give that to your people. And also give that to yourself, knowing you have leveled up. Show people gradual results. And this is what takes you further. Moving forward, you are getting to where you want to be. And then last but not the least, how do you continue change? And this is my last question for all of you. How do you start a new project for this year, coming from a very bad performance from last year? Let's say our project, our sales were not ideal last year. So how do you now, from a more dismal performance last time, how do you now carry your people? How do you now launch your team into a new project, a new year, a new fiscal year, a new product line? How do you do it? And I will wait for your answers as I wrap up this session. And if you want more of our session today, because this is a very lengthy session actually, no, this can be a whole day program, can be a half day program. And there are a lot of tips and tricks that I can share with you moving forward. No? How do you move from here to there when here was not pretty good, and bright, and shining, and shimmering, splendid? Here's the answer. Tama, team building, pwede, team building. But when studying the effects, yeah, someone's listening, provide the results, what? Reviewing last year's, adapt to change, you celebrate. Ulitin ko, you celebrate. Whether it be a bad year, whether it be a good year, facing each new year, challenge, project, celebrate it. Why? At John Deere, they have this what they call first day high tradition. Every employee, if it's their first day, they make it grandiose. Di ba pag first day mo, it's your first day on the job, you just go around the office and you meet people and you can't remember their names, right? This is audit, oh, this is finance, oh, this is accounting, oh, this is operations, this is HR. Oh, say their names all again, no, I don't remember. At John Deere, they make it a point that your first day is very memorable. You get a gift, you meet everyone, yes, but you also meet the owner. Why do they make sure that your first day at John Deere is something that is memorable? Because they understand one psychological aspect. It's called temporal landmarks. Even though, and this is what I do, every time I have a new project, a new client, a new endeavor, I celebrate it with my team. Why? Two things. Number one, The past is behind us. We accept the brutal facts. We failed here. It's a little dismal. We didn't reach our goals here, but this is a new one. We have left this behind us. We are moving forward. And so number 2, I am celebrating this because I am so happy to be with you on this one. Are you getting the point? Let's say your shuttle launch, you're an astronaut now. That was not very happy. Try to celebrate the new one. Why? Because you're with the new crew, with your new team, everyone behind you. I'm celebrating it because I am now here with you. But also the same thing is telling us number 3. This team, we are going to be ready for the challenges ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to be able to adapt to an uncertain period of time, you can't do it alone. You have to be humble enough to accept that this is an extraordinary period. Sometimes we always resort to what we call toxic positivity. Oh, everything's going to be okay. Oh, everything's going to be fine. Oh, we're going to claim it. No, I am claiming it now. It's going to be a great year. But you're not prepared for the eventualities. As an accountant, as a guy from finance, I'm always about contingency. It's always about preparation. It's always about insulation. My job, I just came from a 2-day, whole day team building. That's tiring. And I drove all the way back here. And now I'm speaking to you right now, absolutely exhausted. And I have 3 meetings in the afternoon. It's about building your endurance because you're in this for the long haul. And ladies and gentlemen, I am happy that I am exhausted. Why? Because now I know that I'm preparing myself for my transition into the new and the now normal, where we can be ready again to face the challenges together. It is uncertain. After 50 meters, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm busy this June, but I don't know what's going to happen in July. But I'm preparing myself, whether it be bad or good. I am celebrating what I'm going through right now. This is the period where we are open to any of your questions. Miss Kate will be happy to help you and facilitate this for you. If you have any questions, please do tell me, and I'd be very happy to answer any of your questions. I hope you learned something today. Miss Kate?
Okay. Yes, now it's time for questions. For those of you who have questions, you can type them here in the chat box or click the raise hand. Will allow you to unmute yourself para you can ask directly your question to Coach Randy. So let me check the chat box. Type them. Or if you want to remain anonymous in asking your question, send it privately to me. I'll be reading them. Okay, I am seeing a lot of thank yous here in the chat box right now.
Thank you, Jenny, friend of mine.
Questions or clarifications about the topic? That's also welcome.
If you're a little bit shy of sending the questions to everyone, send it directly to me. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions.
Yes. That can be an anonymous question.
Ano, synonymous? Ano, synonymous question?
Anonymous.
Okay. I'm so happy to see familiar names here. Good morning to all of you. Happy to see you today. Thank you, Sir Nestor.
Having a brilliant mind, sabi ni Nestor. Wow.
Medyo pundi pa yung brilliant. kailangan pa isa
short. Hindi halata today. Thank you, Coach, for your generosity.
Kate, no, we're very busy, right? We're very busy. And we're very happy that we're busy, yes?
Yes, we also are very, very happy.
Okay. I see a question here. Okay. How can politics shape our... Oh, wait. Sandali lang po. Ang daming dumaan. Makikiram po. Okay. How can politics shape... I want to answer that question. How can politics shape our... I'm enjoying me. Politics has everything to do with what we are doing right now. Investor confidence, economic growth, our economic mindset, jobs creation, right? How do we curb inflation? So if people do want change and the 31 million believed in that, then we should support it. And that is why every single new administration, my mindset is always, I will support you. Because if the economy collapses, damay ako dun eh. I'm part of that. So I'm gonna do my share in building myself, building others, but the politics also come with it. Because the flow of money and commerce and revenue and investments and imports and exports, our GDPs, are all part of all of this. If there are new technologies, we're now welcoming Starlink from Elon Musk. Starlink, Satlink, I know I forgot the name. I have memory gap, no? But this is part of the new normal where we're having new players. So the question now is PLDT, Globe, are they adapting now to new players? Can they make their services better? It's uncertain period also for them. There is no longer a monopoly of technology. Yeah. Okay, I have a direct question, okay?
Yes, after your question, we have another one here from you.
How can employees fully adapt if we're given instructions to just adopt, to just follow management despite existing policies and standards? Okay. Unfortunately, your leadership is not attending this session right now. And my message is that transparency is very important if you want people's commitment. Now, as an employee, what is your prerogative? And my question is, do you have a choice? Are you getting the point? For example, you're a child. You're a child. And your parent, and you know, your mom said this to you, basta sumunod ka lang. Basta sumunod ka. Wag kang matutulog ng basa ang buhok. And then you're a child, like, why? Why do I need? Why? Wag kang tatawa pag kumakain. Don't laugh while you're eating. Right? So a lot of this stuff that you don't understand. And you will have your time to implement your own. But as an employee right now, building up your career, be a good soldier. But, and here's my tip, learn as much as you can. And when the opportunity opens up for you, open up your suggestion, create your ideas, and eventually, hopefully, our leadership will be humble and vulnerable enough to accept criticisms as well. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng leadership. Go ahead, Kate.
Okay. Here's another question that was sent to me directly. Is manlasakit important, or is it okay if you can do your work? If you can do your own work but not contribute to the team?
Okay. Again, one company told me, how do I make people have more initiative? It's the same question I get over and over from HR. Coach, how do you teach people malasakit? And you don't. You don't. It is felt in the culture. Number one, from the leadership. Number two, from the working environment. Why? Because if malasakit or empathy and initiative is not being accepted, rewarded, contributed, recognized in the organization, people will always ask the question, what's in it for me? So if I do this, and if I take the extra mile, do I get anything? And it's up to the leadership, it's up to the environment, to the culture, to recognize and reward that. But if it's all about, I did this, I made a suggestion, I went the extra mile, nothing happened, then just do your job. But keep pushing for that initiative, that malasakit. Because it's something you cannot teach, but it is something you can cultivate by rewards, recognitions, and cultivating the culture. And that is the only way that people will have more malasakit, because they feel that it is felt, it is rewarded, it is appreciated by management, if not by everyone else. If you don't have each other's back, then I won't care. Hiring millennial people takes a lot of challenges. How are we going to adapt on the challenges on culture? Again, I get a lot of questions. Coach, how to handle millennials? How do we adapt to millennials? How do you... And have you ever asked the question? Okay, so sorry, this is my little clap back here. But have you ever asked yourself, what if young people were asking the same question to me? Coach, how do we manage old people? Are you getting the point? Coming from different generations, we all have our differences, right? I mean, but if you think about it, Kate, every generation, from the James Deans to the Elvis Presleys to the Justin Biebers to the Rip Eraserheads to the Avril Lavignes to the Britney Spears to the Lady Gagas and Nicki Minaj, generationally, all of us, once upon a time, were rebels. Yes? Hard to understand. It was just in a different period, in a different form. So, what needs to be done is this. The organization does not have to adjust to the employee. Let me say that again. Whatever generation you are, the organization never adjusts for you. Who makes the adjustment? The employee. Because you want to be there. You applied for that job. But what needs to be established? What is the culture? What needs to be adjusted to? What are the norms? What are acceptable? What is not? Because millennials, Gen X, Gen Z, Alpha generation, baby boomers, they will all have their own little quirks and do things their own way. But when it's boxed in the culture, I'm sorry, but this is what needs to be done. This is how we behave, and this is what we establish. It's not about being a millennial or a Gen Z. You have your so much gadget, then the process takes care of that for you. If you have a clear process that delineates what is acceptable and what is not, if you cannot adjust, then you go out. If you can adjust, then you're with us.
I have another question here that was sent anonymously.
Shoot, Starlink. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Go ahead.
Can I read it? Okay. Is the attitude of an employee important?
Is
the attitude of an employee important?
Oh, yeah.
Important ba ang attitude?
Yeah. Asking the obvious. Even if you have a very competent person, if you have a brilliant person, if that person can't work with anyone else, his brilliance is worth nothing. Why? Especially if you put him in a leadership position where he's the one who is the smartest guy in the room and everyone is an idiot. No new suggestions, insights will ever be developed because there's only one person versus 20 and who thinks he has the big creator mindset. No one's telling him he's wrong. No one's telling him there's something that can be done. Attitude individually is very important. And even the bad attitudes are actually very important. You know why? Because we learn from them. We know what is acceptable and what is not. Okay. Is it okay if my passion comes first and purpose later? That's fine. For example, sinisipag kang mag-jogging ngayon, passion yun. Right? Tomorrow, good luck. Right? Because you have to ask yourself again the question, why are you jogging in the first place? Right? Why are you exercising? Why are you coming to work? So you can be passionate now, but I cannot assure you if you're going to be passionate tomorrow. And I think the way you can do that, and Kate, the reason why we're here with ARIVA Academy for the longest time is we're seeing the fruits of our purpose. It's not just the fruits of our passion, but we've been with so many people through the years, thousands and thousands of people locally and internationally. We've helped a lot of people, and that's our purpose. And that keeps us going. And that asks the question, Coach, may talk ka pa tomorrow, kauuwi mo lang. And I can do that all over again. I have 3 meetings later and I'm fine with it. I can die like a corpse after my meeting and I can do that again tomorrow. Okay, tips in handling a team. where everyone is new, plus with challenges found the projects, time, and budget. Number 1, establish, understand what are the competencies of your people and what can they contribute. Strengths finder ka muna. And then number 2, understand and give them clear expectations and throw them to their roles. Let them know what is expected of them, what is acceptable and what is not, and keep on reviewing periodically. Give them feedback and show them that the challenges are being met and we are getting gradual results. Okay pa ako magbasa, Kate?
Yes, yes. I also have a question here.
You go first.
Okay. Here's from Zenaida. How do you marry agility and adaptability?
It's just the same. Agility and adaptability is the ability to react, okay? The ability to switch, the ability to, okay. One client of mine, I did a talk beginning of this year, was a shipping company. And they have multiple forms of businesses, different business units, SBUs, sub, right? So one thing they realized was this. They spread out their resources into so many businesses that were threatened by the period that they had to narrow down their focus on their core competencies so that any challenges that come in their way, they will only be able to protect their core business, which is the beginning business, the biggest business, and had to look back and had to probably take a step back on their other ventures. You can only be agile if you are able to hunt yourself down, but you cannot do that if your focus is too widespread. If your resources are spread too thin, you have to go back to your savings. For example, let's talk about an individual. No, if there's a challenge that comes in, like hospitalization, knock on wood, or bills that came out, what the only thing you can do? Number 1, trust in your savings. How much do you have? Number 2, trust in your credit line. Trust in your assets. And you can only do that. And you cannot do that if your assets are spread all over that you cannot touch them. You can only be agile and adaptable with a highly responsive team that can move with the responses of the time. And that's how Apple did it. They had a very tight-knit group of designers whose sole focus was to see what's happening in the environment and create designs that responded, if not disrupted, the environment. Okay, can I go?
Yes, yes.
Okay. If you messaged me directly, of course, I will keep you anonymous, all right? It's okay. Your name is fine with me, all right? Hi, Coach Andy. I would like to ask if company culture affect the higher purpose of a team. Example, team strives to indulge department to apply standards. Well, the word indulge is not basically the best word for that. ISO standards coherently, but gets the feedback of being too insisting. And that is why I guess indulge is your very polite way of saying, okay lang ba? Is it okay na you implement ISO standards? Is that okay? Would you like to do it? But ISO standards are standards. It's not as if they are standards that you can wriggle your way around. That's why these standards were created, to narrow down the wiggling room for mistakes, for lack of documentation, because it again goes back to you. And that culture, in fact, okay, let me just say this. As a consultant, ISO standards are not even part of your culture. These are like safety protocols are not part of your culture, but you have to do it because these are standards that are created to ensure the proper flow of business documentation, business analysis. They are there for a purpose. They're not even connected to your culture. People need to understand that standards are standards. It is not something to be indulged in. It is something that needs to be applied. And leadership has to do that first so that people will understand. Well, do you like wearing masks? No. Do you like wearing face shields? No. Do you like safety protocols? No, but you have to do it. It's not part of my culture or your culture, but we have to do it.
I have a question here, Coach. Let me read it.
Yes.
How can we adapt to change when our boss is stuck to traditional processes?
Well,
Ipagsusumbong po siya.
Right. That's one of them is that's where we come in, right? Tayo at ARIVA. It is consultants that give management a multiverse of possibilities, that there are ideas out there. Now, sometimes you have to understand as well, as a leader as well, sometimes managers resist these changes because of many reasons. Number one, cost implications, right? May cost pare ang ano eh. There's a switching cost involved when from an old technology, you have to shift to a new technology. Now, here's the downside. You have seen a lot of companies that have died using old technology, right? Aristocrat Restaurant should have been the Chowking of its time, but it remained as Aristocrat, right? The stores in Binondo still using the old printing press, still using the old equipments. Where are they now? Just beside our house is a printing press using modern equipment. And then right across the street is another printing press using large format printing, which is digital. Who survives in the future? And unfortunately, with your boss, unless they are able to see the reality, kasi that's the problem. Maybe your boss is a victim of experience, that this is working, this is okay, but eventually over time, and there are people who believe in the classics, right? No, old school stuff. And okay pa naman ang TV ko. Magaganon ko pa, umaandar pa. Oo. May flat screen. Huwag muna, umaandar pa eh. Yung ventilador, ang umaandar na yung katawan, hindi na yung LC. Pwede pa yan. We believe in that we have the faith to believe that it's still okay. Pero over time, it's gonna conk out on you. And you're gonna be a distant memory. And unless you do, it might fall on the shoulders of the children, the next generation of owners. From the original Kokongways and Ayalas and the Cs, now come the new batch of new leaders, learned from America, US, academically trained, learned in Singapore, in London, and maybe they're the people who probably will usher in a new generation of change for the organization. Hopefully, cross your fingers.
Next one. Here's a question from Jonalyn. How can you change the mindset of the employee to core values of work if the top management is not supportive? I think it's the similar to the previous question.
It is possible that top management can be people who are not very enthusiastic about all of this stuff. You know, sometimes there could be leaders or owners who are more of the business type. I just want to make money. I just want to earn. I want to expand. I'm focusing on the future. Think about that. And this is why department managers come in. And unfortunately, this falls on the shoulders of human resources. All right? People management. It is very important that the leaders, maybe not just HR, but the collective efforts of all the department managers to make sure. And that's why if you're HR right now, I encourage you to band together all your department managers, your ManCom, to make sure that we preserve the core culture. It might not be obvious to the employees that the top management supports that, but we in the middle can be the ones who become the mezzanine before the roof. right? Before the penthouse, we become the mezzanine for everyone else down the lower floors to make sure, ay, ang ganda ng mezzanine, ang saya, ay may core values, ay we celebrate it. And it falls on our shoulders to continuously create programs that promote the culture. If we cannot expect it from top management, at least if you're HR right now, if you're Mancom right now, ask from them the proper resources to do your programs. If sama mo sa budget mo, put it in your budgeting, in your strat plan, and defend it to death because you're trying to promote. And remember, think of the flip side. If people do not follow the culture, you will have multiple cultures in your organization. You don't know, and people start not valuing honesty, integrity, right? Customer centricity. And that's more costly than asking for a budget for an awards night or a team building or a seminar or plaques of recognition. It's a lot cheaper.
Okay.
We are flooded with questions, Kate. Yeah.
Yes. And we still have 5 more minutes left. So a few more questions. This one is from Glenn. Coach, yung DDMPR remains debt-free. But sa chart nila, bagsak yung current price from IPO nila. Any reasons why? Good naman yung catalyst nila. Meron kaya problem sa management? Any thoughts on that?
Well, it's so easy to say that that it's a management problem, it's a leadership problem. But when you look at a lot of companies right now, Nissin Monde just recently did their IPOs. A lot of companies are gearing up for their IPO. There are further announcements coming up further down the line. And this is the volatility of the market right now. Now, the one thing I cannot see, what we cannot see in the picture right now is their liquidity. Now, their resources they're debt free, but it doesn't mean that you're debt free is that you're liquid, right? Do they have stagnant assets? Are there assets that are underutilized? So these are factors that come into pricing, come into investments and revenues after taxes, before taxes. All of these do they have? Let's say they're debt free, but are they interest free? Are they suffering from inflation? So all of these things play a major role. And unfortunately, it's for them. We can only, and this is the power of the stock market. We can only go as far as speculation and make your investment decision based on that. But that's a good question. We can try to maybe uncover, maybe listen to the grapevine and maybe see what we can find.
And I think this will be our last question, Coach.
Sorry, guys. I know there's so many questions, but
we went over time. Actually,
I know.
We're
but
over time now, but
let's do it at your office. Let's do it in-house. Message me as well. Let's keep in touch with Arriva. Call us, message us, and we'll continue to answer more of your questions. But for now, I'll probably answer this one.
Last question is from... Okay, here you go. Cezanne Panay. How can we inject purposively and unconsciously changes in management?
Kate, say it again. I lost that.
Okay, how can we inject purposively and unconsciously changes in management? So hindi halata pero may changes na ipapagawa.
If I wasn't, so I own my own company, right? Now, let's say I'm not implementing changes. I'm not the catalyst for the changes. I'm not the disruptor. But what I like to see is the same thing that employees like to see. Uy, may nagbago ah. Something changed. What happened here? Oh, our guys started to, take the initiative of fixing this and maybe trying a new system. And understanding human psychology, it is still about the rewards that come after the fact. If there is a reward, after the fact that you did this, then I might be open to maybe adopting it. Now, the stumbling block with the adoption of reward is cost. May gastos ba yan? Babayad ba ako dyan? Will I spend money on this? Will I invest on it? But the moment you can work on things that have the most minimal investment, but can show ubiquitous results, obvious, you can see that in the course of business, things are changing from the down, from down up, then adaptability can be possible. But again, this is think of the question of unionizing, right? Unionizing, putting up your union. This has been going on for decades. And now it becomes a me versus you. It becomes what we want versus what I can give. And that's why it becomes rallies and pickets and protests. And again, I always go back to the process of continued discussion, dialogue. Show them, okay, if at least management can be open enough to say, okay, show me what you got. I'll give you a week. I'll give you 2 weeks. I'll give you a month. Prove me wrong. Then that's already the seed of dialogue. And if things work out with the least minimal amount of investment and cost, then maybe we can come to a medium. But until then, it becomes an uphill battle if it is if it is downward going up. But if you can, minimal investment, high results, swing it big. Go for it.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That ends the question and answer portion of our webinar today. Thank you so much, Coach Randy. Because of that, we'd like to present the certificate. Let me show it. And I'll be reading this. ARIVA Academy gratefully present this certificate of appreciation to Coach Randy Esguerra for generously sharing his professional expertise, invaluable knowledge, and wisdom to the delegates of Adaptability, successfully managing change during uncertain times. Held on June 2, 2022 via Zoom platform. Signed by the Chairman and Chief Strategist, Learning Event Producer, J.M. Atienzo, and President and Chief Learning and Development Strategist, Michelle Irish Malonda Sampson. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our speaker, Coach Randy Esguerra.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
We really appreciate the sharing this morning, the new learnings that we had. Maraming salamat. Now, I would like to invite all of our participants to join us for a group photo. I know there's a lot of us here, pero kaya natin to. Let's have a group photo. So please turn on your cameras. Join us. There you go. There you go. Ayan. We are now seeing the beautiful faces of our participants. Again, participants coming from Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, and also outside the country. For those of you who can't turn on their cameras or who don't have their cameras, it's okay. But for those of you who can, please turn on your cameras. We'd love to be with you, and we will be assisted by our technical director this morning, Jeff.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Kate. So guys, please enable your camera before we proceed for the group picture. Okay, let's wait for the others. May habol pa po ba? Yan. Okay. Okay, I think we're good. So guys, get ready for the first shot. Okay, and 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, this time let's do a thumbs up naman po. Thumbs up.
Ako, caps lock.
No, Coach, thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Okay, get ready. And 3, 2, 1, smile. Thank you so much. Back to you, Miss Kate.
Thank you so much, Jeff. And in behalf of everyone from ARIVA Academy, we are very grateful for your presence today. This morning, we're looking forward to welcoming you again in our future learning events. We'll have another free learning webinar soon, free live webinar soon, and our other webinars. Looking forward to welcoming you also to our on-site events. Thank you so much. Maraming salamat. Enjoy the rest of this tremendous Thursday. God bless you all. Keep safe, everyone. Thank you.